Well, good morning, Year 10. You're lucky to have my company today. I'm a very busy teacher. I teach a lot of business lessons. I'm a renowned confidant at the University of Plymouth. I'm currently in my study. I'm surrounded by business books that I've written. I'm a really important business studies teacher, and what I'm saying to you lot is highly renowned on a sorry, hang on, let's just get rid of that. That's sort of slightly embarrassing. Anyway, on with the lesson. Okay, slightly flustered after that. So our lesson objective today is describe the role of procurement. It's shopping. All right, procurement is a clue, shopping. And also we're going to look at logistics and how we think about supplying and the supply chain from supplier to our customers. So there's our keyword there, procurement. Have a little think. Go on, best guess. What have you got? What does procurement means? If you need to pause it, I don't think anybody does actually pause this video. You probably just wait for me to give you the answer. That's what I would do. I suppose it's the logical thing to do. But if you are playing along, procurement, what does that mean? So, well, you knew I was going to give you the answer, so here it is. It's the act of obtaining or buying goods so that businesses can operate, and it's the official way of purchasing. It's shopping. It's official shopping, and it's that actions or steps taken to acquire those raw materials, goods to enable the service. If Oh, there you go. There's even a wordier definition for you. We've got that raw materials, components. You get it from suppliers, so you can produce your own products and services. I suppose it comes under supply chain, doesn't it? There's a chain from raw materials to providing your service. An example of that, I suppose, would be, well, let me just get, let's see if this comes back. Yeah, there we go. Just zoom in. I've just gone online and had a little look at this story that was from yesterday. Today's VE Day, by the way. Looking forward to celebrating or commemorating that rather later on today. If I just go back a step, there we go. So these are to do with the gowns that the government ordered from the Turkish government, and they've arrived and they are the wrong spec, they are the wrong safety standard. So if we just have a little look at this story here, up to half of the equipment order was flown in by the RAF. So that was part of the supply chain. It was due to be given to NHS workers. I'm sorry I'm talking about the coronavirus, but it just fits in neatly with what we're talking about today. They were the wrong spec and they're looking to get a refund. This was Thursday morning. Very embarrassing, because what it shows at the moment is that the government is unable to procure the safety equipment for our key workers. And it's important that they follow the steps of procurement to get it right, because there's people's lives at stake here. So in the next sort of few slides, it's not loads, all right, what I'm going to go through are some of the steps that you should look at before you start procuring raw materials, products or services that you need. Okay, so you got to identify the right goods and services to buy. The objectives for the government in this situation, or for a business, would be that we've got to get those raw materials. When have we got to get them by? What is our strategy? Is it going to be high quality? Is it going to be low quality? Are we going to be ethical? Do we need to get our cotton for our clothing from a reputable supplier? Because if we don't, it might come back later on and damage our brand. So those objectives that the company has is very important. I suppose the objective for the government in this instance was to protect. And in actual fact, they didn't meet their objectives because those goods did not protect. Also, what we're looking at is whether it's direct procurement or indirect procurement. So if the raw materials that you're purchasing is directly involved with the product or service that you're providing, then it is direct. So if you're a window washing company, as the example says at the bottom, soaps and sponges, that's to do with window washing, that's direct procurement. However, if you're buying paper to print off your posters or your invoices or your marketing, that's indirect procurement. So choosing your supplier, well, quality and reliability. Unfortunately, this was one of the rules that the government broke when procuring. They didn't buy the right quality goods. They weren't up to standard. They weren't faulty, but they weren't of the necessary standards which fulfilled public health. So they couldn't use them. So they were of no use. They haven't got their refund yet. They've spent and they still haven't got their goods. Speed and flexibility. So these are the ones that we want. Can you do them like this? I know I usually have these particular goods, but we'd like you to do them in a different color or a different spec or with a different material. So choosing a supplier when you're procuring is important because you might have new needs from your customers and you want to meet customer needs. So can your supplier adapt? So the question would be, now they've got these goods from Turkey. Can they now provide the right standard in a quick period of time? Another question should have been, should they have used UK suppliers possibly? Could the UK suppliers have worked more in a more readily fashion, in a more flexible and sustainable way and in a cheaper way? And would they have got the goods a lot cheaper than flying them in from Turkey with the RAF? The cost of flying them in would have been quite substantial. And then we're looking for the strong service that you get. You don't want to be delayed. Now these goods were delayed. They had to wait. They were on a runway for a long period of time and they didn't arrive when needed. So they'd let down their customers. The customers in this case would be the doctors and nurses and key workers. Whether they got the strong service, whether they didn't place the order, who knows? But unless you have a reliable supplier, then your customers will go to your competition, and to get them back will be very, very difficult to do indeed. What you're also looking for is value for money. So did they buy the cheapest ones? Should they have gone to the UK suppliers who were, offering their services? Why didn't they go there? Why did they want to go to Turkey? Was it because the amount that Turkey could supply? Was it the cost of them? That's not for me to answer, but it's something that they should have considered and they didn't. And then communication. Well, it doesn't seem to be that there was a lot of communication going on with this equipment. And when you're a business, you've got to have that access to your suppliers, because if you don't communicate, then if we're looking at these products over here, we're talking about ingredients, allergies and so on. What kind of ingredients are in there? Businesses need to have that communication so they're comfortable in what they're providing their customers. Remember, this is a supply chain. That direct procurement needs to have an understanding between buyer and seller when you're procuring. And finally then, financial security. You've got to choose a supplier that has the cash flow to supply a large order. So if you're making that order and your supplier hasn't got the cash flow, then you're going to be purchasing from a business that might not be able to provide you with the number of goods or the quality of goods that you need. So those are the 6 elements of procurement. I started off with a silly video, but I'll finish with a video. Just a final goodbye from me for this week. I hope the videos are suitable. I'll put a PowerPoint on as well if you don't want to hear my voice, but I'm just hoping that they will be, useful for you. I'm thinking of you all. We'll meet soon. Hope you enjoy your VE day, and if you've got grandparents, then give them a call and meet up with them, because it's all about staying safe and staying in contact with loved ones. So that's me. Have a good weekend.